times in his life, even if he hadn't held on to any of them for very long. Carl Hutchinson didn't talk much about that because he didn't talk much about anything, not for more than a few sentences at a time. Most of what Hutch knew about the different things his dad had done since he stopped playing baseball came from his mom, who had been his dad's high school sweetheart, and pretty much had been with him ever since. His mom, Connie Hutchinson, the former Consuela Valentine, was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico. If Hutch had gotten the baseball in him from his dad, he had inherited his dark skin and dark eyes from his mother, who had moved to East Boynton from Puerto Rico when she was 10. Your father and I have been through thick and thin, she says. Sometimes extra thick on the thin. Then she would smile and say, Benedito. It was her catchphrase from what she calls her Spanglish. Sometimes happy, sometimes sad, sometimes in between. Carl Hutchinson had made it out of Legion Ball in high school to the minor leagues, first in the Braves farm system, and then in the Twins. He had finally made it up to AAA with the Twins, but that was as far as he made it. He was out of professional ball by the time he was 24. Carl Hutchinson tried selling cars for a while after that, because he'd always been good with cards. When that didn't work out, he started up a landscaping business with one of his old teammates from Boynton Beach High, figuring he could cash in, get a lot of business just from people in the intermediate area who remembered the kind of star ball player he had been. He'd been a local celebrity even before his time in the minors, when he'd taken East Boynton Little League team all the way to Williamsport, Pennsylvania for the Little League World Series, where they lost in the finals to Taiwan. His mom had told him all about that, and Hutch had watched the game on videocassette plenty of times, because his dad's year in Williamsport was one of the first years ABC had put the finals on television. Nobody else on East Boynton could do much against the Taiwan starting pitcher that day, but his dad managed to get 3 hits off the kid, one of them a long home run. The announcers had said you could never call anybody in sports a sure thing, but this East Boynton kid sure looked like one to them. They even joked that Cal Ripken Jr. would be looking over his shoulder someday, because this tall, skinny kid his teammates called Hutch was destined for shortstop in the major leagues. Only by the time he was supposed to be gaining on Cal Ripken, Carl Hutchinson was back in East Boynton trying to sell cars. He worked briefly as an assistant manager in his uncle's hardware store up in Juno Beach, but that didn't last either. Nothing did. Maybe that was why 2 summers ago Hutch's dad, between jobs again, needed what he always called a job. Had ever run the snack shack and sold challenges for a while. Hutch knew why he was doing it, because he needed the work. But every time Hutch would ever look at the truck, it would feel like somebody just punched him in the stomach. Even now, Hutch would look over at the truck during a break in the game and remember what it was like when he knew his dad was inside, or when he'd see his dad leaning against the side of a truck and watching from while Hutch's team played. Then and now, Hutch wondered what his dad was thinking, watching his son play on one of the fields where he'd been the biggest star in the area once. The kind of star Daryl Williams it was now. Watching was those sad-looking eyes of his. Carl Hutchinson would never come right out and say it, but Hutch knew something as well as he knew all the baseball numbers he carried around inside him. The only job his dad ever cared about was baseball. And it was baseball that broke his heart for good by telling him he wasn't good enough and sending him home. Carl Hutchinson had worked with Hutch at the very beginning on baseball. The very first year his son had been old enough to play t-ball, he showed him how to hold a bat and play catch with him in the yard, backing up a little bit at a time as Hutch's arm began to get stronger. Hutch had hoped that because his dad had been Hutch had hoped that his dad, because he'd been as good as he was at baseball, might coach him in Little League someday, but he never had. By the time Hutch was 8, he felt like he was his own coach. Even on all the summer nights, when he wouldn't be out behind the house in their smaller yard throwing balls against the pitchback his mom had bought for him, fielding one ground ball after another until it got too dark. There wasn't a single night he did it when he didn't keep waiting for the back door to open and his dad to come walking out wanting to play. It never happened. Sometimes Hutch would look up and see his dad facing the kitchen window, watching him. Hutch would wave. His father would wave back. The next time he'd sneak a look over there, his dad would always be gone. It was almost the same way with watching games on television. He could remember sitting next to his dad on the couch, his dad pointing out things about where the fielders were playing, the way a shortstop would come across the bag on a double play, somehow knowing which pitches would be the best ones to hit before the pitcher would even deliver the ball to the plate. A guy he started out in the minor leagues with, a catcher named Tom McCann, now a backup with the Marlins, was still a big star with the Braves when Hutch was younger. And Carl Hutchinson would talk about the old days and what they were both like when they were kids hanging out. Over time, though, his dad began watching games when he still watched games by himself, always with a can of beer next to him. It was the only time Hutch ever saw his dad drinking beer. When a game was on, sometimes Hutch would come into the room and the game would be on with the sound turned off, almost like his dad didn't care with what the announcers were saying. He'd feel as if there was some kind of force field around his dad, where there would be a sign near the door to the room, reading "No visitors allowed, not even your own son." His dad wouldn't sit through the whole game. Hutch never knew where he went, but he'd hear the door close and know his father had left again. He came to watch his games when he could, even though it was never as many as Hutch wanted. It killed him when he would do something great in a game, something that in his own mind measured up to the kind of things his dad did all the time when he was Hutch's age, and he'd look up to the stands and find his mom watching, not his dad. He'd come home after the game and try to tell his dad what happened, describe it as best he could, explain what he was thinking, and fill in that he made a play in the field or driven a ball somewhere to win the game. And he'd see his dad trying to act interested. But more and more it was just that, an act. was tired. He was working 2 jobs now. Caddying during the day at Emerald Dunes Golf Club in West Palm. And driving for Suncoast limousines 3 or 4 nights a week, sometimes more. But Hutch knew it wasn't just work that made his dad seem so tired all the time, so beaten. Even so much older than he really was. It was more than that. Something Hutch wasn't sure he understood totally. He could have explained to someone. But both of his dad's jobs involved being a caddy, really. He either carried guys around in his car or carried their golf bags. Hutch wouldn't have admitted it, but he was embarrassed for his dad, thinking of him like some sort of Caddyshack caddy in his white overalls, a great ball player. Maybe his dad sensed that from Hutch. Maybe that was why the distance between them had seemed to be growing all the time. Most of the time, Hutch felt as if his dad wasn't really there, as if nothing had changed since Hutch was little. When he was playing in the yard and his dad was inside the house, 1 minute there, the next minute gone. We're going to keep this particular video short, and we will pick up on Chapter 5 next time. If you have any comments of any books you'd like me to read, leave them in the comments below. If you have any suggestions or constructive criticism for me, also leave them in the comments. If you want to see more of these videos, give a thumbs up to this video and subscribe. I will provide ASMR content at least 3 times a week from now on. So if you enjoy ASMR, I suggest you give my